This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa, Internet World, West Alabama. How we doing today on this hump day? Happy hump day. Welcome into the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com. I am Joe Gaither. You are the listener, the viewer, watching us on Spotify or watching us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon. Appreciate you guys so much. Let's have a lot of fun on a Wednesday, hanging out in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios with my friend Mason Woods. You can follow us on the Twitter machine at MAWoods _ at Bama Central and at Joe Gaither 6. We are going to, I don't know, is last night's game worth celebrating? Some parts of it were. Some parts of it definitely were. But you beat an inferior team and you followed your MO to almost a T last night with a first half knockout and a second half lackluster finish. But you moved to what, 4-1 in the league, 5-1 in the league already in the year, beating Vanderbilt, taking care of business, re-protecting home court. So that's where we're going to spend most of our time today. You can jump in with the comments on the game. What did you think about Mark Sears getting 2,500 career points? What did you think about Muhammad Diabate? What do you think about Chris Youngblood? Aiden Holloway? He sold that young man a dream. LeBaron Philon still a little bit on the struggle bus, but I just want to hear your opinion on the basketball game last night, and you can do so by commenting at Joe Gaither 6. We'll talk about the basketball game. We'll talk about Aiden Holloway. We'll talk about Mo Diabate specifically, and I've got a list of the top 100 players in college football this past season. Mason Woods will pin him down and make him guess how many Alabama players were on that list. But before he makes that guess, good morning, Mason. How are you?
Doing good. I enjoyed, get to watch the basketball team last night do what I guess they just do best. They hit you real hard in the first half and then coast through the rest of the game. And they did that again last night. Did it very effectively, mind you. They did that plan about as perfectly as you can. So I guess I can't complain from there. I still just would like to see more, but whatever. I was happy with the win. Good game for Alabama. Third 100-point performance in 6 SEC games. Feel really, really good about that. The sky continues to be the limit for this team.
103-87. The Crimson Tide does cruise to victory over Vanderbilt and stays in second place with Ole Miss. They're actually a half game where you're a half game up on Ole Miss because Ole Miss hasn't played their midweek game. They're going to play tonight. So you're basically, if the world ended today, you're second place by yourself. But the world's not going to end today. Everybody's going to have a great day. We will see an Ole Miss basketball game tonight and an Auburn basketball game tonight. So we'll get a little more update on the standings. I had a hard time staying dialed into the game because I think that I think that the talent disparity was fairly evident fairly quickly.
Certainly.
And I think that the fans aren't stupid. You fans aren't stupid. No, Auburn played last night. Is that right? No, they're off. They're on a bye. This is their midweek bye. Everybody gets midweek buys. Yeah, okay. So I was looking for their
playing Kentucky?
Saturday.
Tennessee? Kentucky?
They're playing
big matchup, I know.
Auburn, Tennessee on Saturday.
Okay.
Where was I?
Talking about the game last night, talking about the talent disparity.
Sure,
that was clear
yes,
from
and
the
how
start.
hard it was to get plugged into the game from just watching. I was there. First off, let's start with where we usually start with home games. The crowd give you a nice C+, B-. the people that were there, look, you've said it about almost every game. The people that were there were into it and bringing it. But the upper parts of Coleman Coliseum, you got the under 16 announcement from Tony Giles. Ladies and gentlemen, if there's a red seat below you and you want to move down, you can move down to any red seat below the rail after the seat. And that just tells you that, okay, they ain't coming the rest of them.
Did all of the free T-shirts at least get taken?
Yeah, the students got them.
Okay,
the students were in there ready to go.
That's good. I mean, because they're always the most intense part of the crowd anyway. So, like, if at least if the students had a good showing, you maybe had some bit of juice in the arena.
Sure, it wasn't lifeless, but definitely the top 10%. I mean, even after the announcement, you get people who just stay up there because they want to. That's the way they like to watch the game. Or you get people moving down.
Those are the real ball knowers.
Basically, all right, what's stat broadcast say? What does stat broadcast say was the attendance? It's going to be wrong. That's not right.
What number are they giving us?
Well, this is 13,474. I'll give you 11.
Yeah.
I'll give you 11.
I was watching on TV, so I didn't get the full view of everything. But even from the broadcast angle, you could see some red seats, kind of sputtered throughout. So I don't know if that's quite an accurate number.
Okay, and the context that goes along with that, people are going to say, Joe, you're talking bad about Alabama fans. All right, it was like 12 degrees last night.
Sure, and this is all we say all of this directed right at you, Greg Byrne, to build that new arena.
No, I'm not on that train. You can't be.
I'm on that train.
Fine.
Make it happen.
I love when we have different lanes.
Do not let Nate Oates leave.
I don't think that's an issue.
I worry more and more about it every passing day.
How old is his youngest daughter?
I don't know.
That's the mark. When the youngest daughter leaves high school and goes off to college, or if the youngest daughter stays in Tuscaloosa, please, 4 more years. Oh, Father Nate Oates. I think that when the youngest daughter cycles through her education, does whatever she wants to do, I'm sure it's going to be great. Then you might be concerned about losing Nate Oates to an NBA team.
I don't know. I worry about it. There is, I'm sure, every single offseason, excuse me again, I'm sure even during the season there are calls being made, agents, calls, just checking on availability, checking on things, seeing what's going on. And, obviously he could still very well leave if they did build that arena, but I think that would really, really lock him in. But I don't know. That would be the house that Nate Oates built.
Well, right now, part of the problem last night, with the attendance, and that's where we started, was it's 16 degrees. And okay, I get you. Be a man, be tough. I braved the weather. But when you have really thrown a curveball into the logistics of attending a game this year, let's just be honest. You did. And not in a screw you way to the fans.
No.
Nate Oates wants his practice facility. And to Mason's point, we got to keep the man. So give the man his practice facility in the back of the parking lot. They're building it in the back of the parking lot. They're junking up all the logistics. It's making it tougher to get into the games. But this is going to be one of those things that you just bite the bullet and say, we'll be all better for it after. And thank God you're only playing Vanderbilt last night, I guess.
Yeah. I didn't, that's the logistical issues combined with the extreme cold last night. I'm sure certainly has something to do with it. That walk from the parking lot there by Coleman to the Coleman, as opposed to from the parking deck to Coleman. It's a pretty big difference there. And having to do that in the cold, I'm sure probably.
And last night, I did not have a parking pass because it just had to make some last minute arrangements with no problem, not complaining. I had to do something different. I had to be a regular fan. I parked over by the rec. And so another block and a half.
Yeah.
Boo hoo hoo, you big crybaby. But that wind is whipping.
It's cold.
And I
man.
was like, I'm a baby.
Man, it is cold. It's cold today. It's going to continue to be cold.
Thank goodness. What do you think? What do you think those people on the beach are thinking when they woke up and it's snowing?
I saw the snowball fights in Bourbon Street are what really got me this morning. The videos of that, I don't know, it's insane. I wish we had maybe gotten just like a little taste of snow, just because I always love getting it because it's so rare. And I always feel like I have the worst FOMO.
You didn't get enough last week?
No, we just got like you got a touch of it, just enough to like annoy you a little bit, and then it was gone. And the next day, you couldn't really even have fun with it. But yeah, I always get like horrible FOMO when the more southern part of the state gets this like fun winter wonderland weather, and then we're just kind of stuck up here like,
Well, Donald Trump wins the election and global warming's over.
Here we go. Maybe that's what it was.
Or maybe it's just accelerated. All right. So the game.
Back to the game.
You win, and you get all right. The difference in the game is this: first half, you're holding Vanderbilt to 0.861 points per possession. You were really defending the tail off.
Mm-hmm.
You only gave them 1 of 7 from behind the 3-point line. They were 12 or 36 or whatever. How many points in the paint were they? Very low, right?
I think I saw a stat that
points in the paint in the first half were 18 out of the 31 or whatever. So really, that was the only place that they were scoring. On the whole, points in the paint ended up with 34 of their 87 to Alabama's 54. I think you won the game in the first half with a good first half defensive effort. I mean, obviously you did score almost 50 in the first half, so that's right on line with where you are. Offensively in the second half, you scored 55, so you opened it up even more a little bit. I liked the pace. Alabama possessions, 79, almost at that golden 80 number. I love that. But I just thought that this was a night where Coach Oates challenged the guards to get into their other guards. And they did that. The second half just seemed like, I don't know. It just seemed that's why Saturday against Kentucky was so encouraging, because it was 40 minutes of I'm playing as hard as I can. And part of that is I think you're playing against Kentucky and you're playing at Kentucky, and just the environment. Obviously, the game was in the balance the entire 40 minutes, most of the 40 minutes. This game was not in the balance really the last 25, last 30 or so. And so, yes, it's just the human mind. You are going to slack off. But I'm almost back to is this team mature enough to really win at a high level? You see Mark last night scoring 21, 7 assists, a great game from Mark, 0 turnovers. The team as a whole, bam, you hit it, 11 turnovers. So, bam, 12 or fewer, great job, gold star,
fantastic.
Bang, 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 bang. Everybody's happy at 11 turnovers. Look, we all want 0, but that's not how life is. Please.
It's just load management. That's all these games
is.
It? I think that's what it is. They run this. They're out sprinting at 110% every time they get a ball in their hands. So like in these opportunities where you're playing a Vanderbilt, where you're playing a whoever it may be, whatever school you want to throw out there, a lower tier SEC or SEC team. Let's just call it like it is. Maybe these Alabama players look at it as an opportunity to say, all right, well, we know we're going to get out to a huge lead. Let's just take it easy. Nobody strain themselves too much. We got a big ranked matchup coming up in a week or so. I mean, that's probably not what it is, but it maybe could be a little bit of it subconsciously, just kind of nagging them like, hey man, we got a lot of harder games, because you saw it against Kentucky. Like they played pretty much the entire game really, really hard against Kentucky. And I think it was because, they were able to recognize, hey, we're on the road in a really tough environment against one of the best teams in the conference, and we need this 40-minute performance. I'm starting to wonder if maybe the team just has the ability to recognize when they really actually have to turn it on and when they don't.
Can we recognize that every game is that?
But it's not. I mean, they're kind of showing us that it's not, as much as I would love to see it.
That's what's going to send me on tilt as a fan.
Yes.
Like, because they're
going to get to March and they're going to look at the wrong team and they're going to say, we can do this against insert whatever mid-major that snuck into the March Madness, snuck into the tournament. And then that team's going to beat them. And it's going to be super frustrating. And we're all going to sit here and
I'm going to go to Coleman Coliseum and burn that place to the ground and say, you have to build a new arena now.
I'll be so upset. Man. That feels like maybe that's just what this team has figured out for themselves a bit.
I'll be so upset. Okay, let's start with the bad play before we focus on some of the good. Mm-hmm. And bad is totally subjective as well. Yeah. Are we worried about LeBaron Philon? Last couple games,
Yeah.
really fallen into a bit of a slump.
Yeah, a little bit.
Are you what 5 points? So to have
0 for
5,
4 from 3.
yeah, 2 of 10 from the floor, three turnovers. So what are we doing here? LeBaron, 1 block, 1 steal, great. -1 in efficiency, and coach talked about how the starters were all really poor in efficiency. Well, not poor, but not great in efficiency. He complimented the bench afterwards that everybody on the bench was highly efficient. Look, 5 against Vandy, 15 against Kentucky. Okay, great. You feel like he's going
he
back
didn't
around.
shoot particularly well against Kentucky, did he? Or am I wrong there?
4 of 10, 40%.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Instead of 2 of 10. So
I'll take it.
1 point against Missouri, 8 against A&M, and 8 against South Carolina. Do we think that little SEC play, these guys are like, we ain't letting this little freshman joker get us?
I think that's part of it. I think he was obviously getting a lot of attention throughout the non-conference games with how well he was playing and, how he was kind of doing everything for Alabama, points, assists, rebounds, whatever. I'm sure some teams probably lasered in on him a little bit now that conference play has started. But I think he's still been able to be effective without the ball in his hands. I don't think he's been like a liability on defense or anything like that. I don't think he's been necessarily like junking up the offense being out there. He's just had a bit of a slump. I think it kind of comes with the ebbs and flows of the season. Yeah, like you said, especially when you're a freshman.
Other guy that I didn't really love, I didn't think Cliff had that good of a game. Cliff, I mean, obviously 5 points, you're 2 of 2. You made a free throw. You got yourself a rebound and a couple blocks here, three rebounds and a couple blocks here. But I still feel like Cliff is like, when you're working on a car and you screwed the piece in or whatever, and all the screws are really tight except for one, and it's a little rattly. I feel like Cliff is like, it's like, oh, he's close. Mm-hmm. He's close to it. Like the threads are there and they're lining up. We just got to twist them a little bit more to lock it into place. I just feel like the teams kind of sometimes are driving and you hear that rattling, like something's not quite right. Something's not quite.
No,
and I don't want to like put that on Cliff as you're not doing good or trying hard. That's not it. It's just it hasn't quite. The threads haven't quite all lined up to where he knows exactly what he's doing and playing confidently.
I think that you nailed it with the knowing what he's doing and playing confidently. I still think he is still trying to figure out this system. It seems like he's always kind of just like a half step behind a little bit. It seems like he recovers relatively well in a lot of cases. I mean, he did get 4 blocks last night. I would have liked to see him get on the boards a little more.
One offensive rebound.
Yeah, you got to clean up the boards more. But he's just, I don't know. It's like he's still just trying to get comfortable out there. And maybe it's a lot harder being a big man with his skill set. That is not I'm going to get out and sprint down the court and I can stretch the floor and shoot, the lights out, whatever. I'm sure it's a bit of a different adjustment for him as opposed to like Chris Youngblood coming in, but yeah, we're starting to get into it. And it's like, you kind of got to put up or shut up.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit of the rebounding issue is positioning due to trying to find his place in the defense. Am I in drop coverage? Am I hedging the screen? Am I redoubling the screen? Am I rotating? Oh, the shot is up. Mm-hmm. I've already over-rotated. I'm not in position. Somebody else is getting a rebound.
Yeah.
I think it's going to come. It's just something to keep watching. I think he's still got a good bit more room to get more comfortable.
Look, if we're sitting here in the end of February and like going into March and that's when he finally turns it on, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Sure.
Hey, if that's what it takes, so be it. But it's something he definitely needs to just continue to get a little bit more comfortable because he's just not quite there.
All right, so those are the only I thought bad performances from the team. Obviously, the offensive rebounding number was not what you wanted it. Going back to last Tuesday, only having 3 or 4 offensive rebounds, only 9 in this game. You did get 14 second chance points, and you limited Vanderbilt. Their 17 offensive rebounds only turned into 11 second chance points. So the defense as a whole, it's like when we want to, it's on.
That's what I think. They just, they are when Nate Oates leaves that
How do you
locker
get 'em
room
on
and it's
all the
just Mark
time?
Sears and all the guys in there, he's like, hey, y'all, we know what we're doing. Come on.
How do we just
Let's go get that 20-point lead and just take it easy.
How do you take the switch and flip it on and just leave it on? Just jam it on.
I don't know.
You know the bomb keys or the switch key. You turn the key, just break the damn key off in the key on the on switch.
Oh,
the
man.
light never goes off. Why can't we do that? Break the key off inside the switch and leave it on.
I'm sure this is what Nate Oates.
I don't care what the
stays
power
up
bill
every night, thinking to himself, like, how do I get these guys to do it? But
the power bill does not matter. Just leave it on.
This is LeBron's fault. He started all this load management. I'm gonna start sitting out games. This is all, you can tie it all back to LeBron. It's all his fault that Alabama can't play a full 40 minutes of basketball.
Mason, as we continue, one of our likes today on Facebook is from Melissa Woods. Do you want to say anything to Melissa today? Does she need to get any groceries or something? Or
no, she's having a great day at work. Stay warm and enjoy your day. I'll worry about the stuff at the house.
That's a kid response. We love that. Oh, we love that. That's a great message. Okay, so didn't love LeBaron, didn't love Cliff.
Aiden Terrell got his 2 threes in, though. I love seeing that.
Aiden, I wanted to get there. 0 points, but look at it.
He is going to put some shots up.
Calls him out and says, Aiden Terrell was positive in plus minus, double digits in plus minus. My man's gets 5 rebounds, two assists. He plays, how was it, 13 minutes? To how many for Cliff? To how many for Cliff? To 16 for Cliff. So 3 fewer minutes, and he gets double the offensive rebounds, and still 2. It's not like world beating, but like, let's go get to the class, guys.
He's coming along a little bit. You see it more and more. He's still, the offense is not there, obviously, but the defense is definitely getting there with Aiden Terrell. He's another one that maybe by the end of the season, he could be somebody that's getting 12 to 15 minutes a game consistently. Who knows? But yeah, he is going to get a couple threes in, no matter what. They would have shot 40% from 3 if you take away his 2 misses.
And his motion is like a dinosaur.
Golly. All 5 players have to be on the opposite side of the floor for him to get that 3 off. But he's going to do it.
He's loading a trebuchet. You're sitting there from miles away. We are loading this trebuchet, and it is arm up the boom. God. He's gonna make some.
And when he does, it's gonna be electric.
He's already made a couple, right?
I think he's had 1 or 2 this season, maybe even more. But he's gonna, one of these games he's gonna light up, and he's gonna hit 2 or 3 in a game or something like that. Maybe get him a couple blocks on the defensive end, and then maybe that's when when we unlock him. Because he still has a little bit of that deer in headlights look out there sometimes.
Yeah, he made 1 against South Carolina, 3-pointer, 1 against Creighton, 1 against Rutgers, 1 against Illinois. There you go. You have 4. You're what is that? 4.
What is it, 4
3,
for
7, 8, 10, 11, 16, 17, 19, 21, 23. Dang. 4 of 23.
He's gonna get them up. He's gonna keep shooting them. I like it though. We've talked about it with the other guys on this team that struggled. Just keep shooting. Jaron Stevenson, Chris Youngblood, just keep shooting. It'll come.
Jaron's another one whose shot motion takes 10 years.
They got a couple. I mean, Grant, Jaron, Aiden.
Their shot motion takes 10 years to load. And then if you stick Chris Youngblood right next to him, it's like they're doing 2 different things. Youngblood's shot is like hairpin.
Lightning.
It's like going off. You better not touch it. It's going off. So it's kind of wild to see the motions and the mechanics all on this team. You want to get into the good?
Yeah, I think there's some good to get into.
I have a thought on Mohamed Diabate.
I wonder if it's the same thought that I wanted to ask you about, because I saw this on Twitter and it really got my brain thinking.
Well, the comparison is what's triggering this thought. A lot of people are throwing out, Herbie Jones,
change the number to 1.
I wonder to myself if Nate Oates had an opportunity to create a starting 5. And granted, as we're having this conversation, Mo doesn't even bleep and start on this team. But if you gave him 2019 to now, so what's that? 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 years of rosters. You give him 6 years of rosters. I wonder how quick. I mean, he drafts Herb 1.
Mhm.
He drafts Herb Jones 1.
Sure.
And he drafts Brandon
Miller,
Miller 2. But how quickly is he drafting Muhammad Diabate into these are my all-time favorites?
He's got to be a top 5.
And obviously, Buffalo aside, we respect his time at Buffalo, but whatever.
Yeah, we're not going to think about that here. I mean,
because I think if I'm Nate Oates, I'm playing with. I'm rolling out the. Oh, shoot, what are you doing? You're rolling the ball out with.
I mean, you got Keon Ellis out there. You know,
JQ. You're rolling the ball out with Mark Sears, JQ, Brandon Miller, Brett. Yeah, that's what you're doing. Mo's the sixth man. You're rolling it out with JQ, Mark Sears, Brandon Miller, Herb Jones, and don't shoot me for this, but I like Dante Hall as your 5 man because I'm pretty sure he was the last year. Last year, Dante was Coach Oates' first year, and you give me a rim running guy who's going to go rebound the heck out of the ball, and I mean he's not going to shoot for nothing.
No, but you don't need him to. Not with this team.
And then Mo D, first man off the bench.
That's a lethal lineup right there.
I just think that you're 23 minutes.
He was sensational.
22 points, 8 of 9, 6 of 9 from the free throw line, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks, a steal, an assist. Yeah, you got your foul in, and you did have 2 turnovers, but it's just. I wish I could attack life. I wish I could understand. I wish I could tap into myself the way that Muhammad Diabate taps into himself to where when he's on the court, it is literally like you can tell that gas pedal, the brick is on the pedal, and it's like I don't know how to take the brick off the pedal. You have to take me out of the game.
Yeah, for all the talk of the team not playing the full 40, Mo D, anytime he's on the floor, he's giving 110%. He's giving 1,000% out there. He is putting his life on the line to help this team in any possible way that he can. I wish that he could, just nail that into the other teammate, his teammates' heads and maybe get them to play the same way. But I'm glad we at least have the one. There's very few teams in the country that have a Mo D, and he is the X factor for this team.
Oh my gosh, yes. So he scores 22 points last night. So one of his more aggressive games. And we asked him post game, "Hey man, what's up with that? You going to hunt a little more offense?" And he says, "Yeah, Coach Oates has basically encouraged me to be more aggressive."
Good.
And okay, that was his light comment. He leaves. Coach Oates comes in and basically gets asked sort of the same thing. And Oates says, "Well, about 2 weeks ago in practice, Mo D comes in and is just killing everybody on the offensive end. He was too fast, too quick for all our bigs. He was too big for all our smalls. He was just really taking it to the defense for a couple of days." And we thought, well, what is this? And so he goes to Pannone and not Austin Clunch. That's the last guy. Ryan Pannone and Adam Bowman. Thank you. As kind of their scouts, and they put together a package for him, and they started calling last night. Did you hear what he called the package, though?
No, what was it?
What if you had to design a Mo Diabate offensive package, and you wanted to give it a cutesy name? What would you call it?
I mean, it'd have to be the hard hat, the blue collar package, or something. The hard hat package.
Similar. Well, he said we're calling it the off-road package.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
It's just
4x4, baby. That's right.
We are getting to the rim.
Oh, man.
Get out of my way. Well, I don't care how bumpy the road is. Off-road package.
I'm driving over it.
Mashing on people.
Man, oh man. Mo D is this team's unsung hero. Obviously Mark Sears, Player of the Year candidate, extremely fantastic, incredible player, has been excellent this year by every account. I saw some discourse on Twitter last night following the game talking about how he's regressed this year, and that's the most foolish comment you could possibly make regarding the way he has played this season. If you want to play box scores, go ahead. But the people who actually watch the games and watch him play know that he is a remarkably better player this year than he was in 2024. But yeah, Mo D, he is what makes his team go. He is the engine that makes his team drive. He is the gas in the tank. He is everything for this team. He's just awesome. And when he is going like this, I think the team around him feels it, and they play a little harder as well sometimes.
Whatever you need, NIL package for Modi.
I'll find a way to make it happen.
You got.
I'll sell my kidneys. I'll sell both kidneys. You know what? That's okay.
We talk about NIL and say, "Oh, I don't want to donate. I'm not donating. These kids aren't. I don't have enough connection point." Mo D is somebody that makes me want to say, "Where's the donation?
Where do
box?
I sign?"
Like, pass the plate for Mo D every single time at Coleman Coliseum, and he's going to walk out with several $1,000s every game. I just think, and okay, yeah, the portal's still there. He could transfer out. Blah. That's the kind of player I want to. That's the kind of player I want to be sending my NIL dollars to. Okay, let's keep going. Another highlight of the night, Aiden Holloway. What a player. 22 points, going hunting his shot a little bit. 22 points, 8 from 11 from the floor, 4 of 6 from the three-point line. 4 rebounds, an assist, and a block. 2 for 2 from the line. And I want to take you to the Auburn Tigers. Auburn, Aiden Holloway.
They don't care about him. They've moved on. They don't think about Aiden Holloway, Joe. Why, surely not. Why would they?
The rivalry is alive and well. So he leaves Alabama and says, "Oh, I think my coach might be sold me a dream a little bit." And of course, that comment was run with. And people, Auburn,
it got analyzed from every possible angle. It was just an offhanded remark, I think.
The Auburn folks, "Oh, he's not going to fit the NATO system. Oh, he stinks as a shooter, this, that, and the other." I want to just read this. And look, I know Auburn didn't play this week or didn't play yesterday, and it's not going to play today. So obviously everybody was watching the Alabama game. This is from Barnes-a-Lot. At Barnes-a-Lot on the Twitter machine goes and writes an essay on losing Aiden Holloway and what it has maybe done or meant to the two programs. All right, world, here's the honest truth about what Auburn fans think about Aiden Holloway.
He's speaking for all of them here.
This is long. Okay. Context. In Aiden's first game, he looked the part. We played Baylor, we as an Auburn, and Aiden popped off. Few freshman mistakes, but we could all see the vision. Aiden took over the starting job, and everyone agreed that he would definitely be the guy throughout non-conference. Aiden routinely hit a couple threes, have some nice assists, and otherwise be a totally deserving starting point guard. When SEC play came, something happened to Aiden. Bama fans will try to point to a comment that Bruce made after a Mississippi State game where Bruce said, "We have to stop taking the shots that we can't make," as if he were talking about Aiden. But Bruce was talking specifically about Jay Will and Katie Johnson.
Because Sir Barnes-a-Lot was there, and he talked to Bruce personally, and he knows this.
Well, we all know Katie couldn't shoot, so get the ball out of his hands. He couldn't shoot unless it was an iron ball. Regardless with Trey's resurgence, Aiden's minutes took a hit until the Georgia game where he popped off with 15 points on 5 made threes. Everyone assumed he's back, and his minutes matched that assumption, averaging 21 minutes per game, which on a Bruce Pearl team is a lot. But efficiency was never there. Even when he was starting in non-conference, he wasn't a super efficient player and not a lockdown defender to make his minutes worth it, i.e. Zep Jasper. This all culminated in the tournament where he goes 0 for 3 from the floor with 0 assists and a turnover. However, Auburn fans still didn't blame Aiden. We blamed the flagrant and then the Yale's one kid going bananas. Yeah. The rationale, Auburn fans recently went through an identity crisis with Bo Nix, a 5-star talent and Auburn legacy that didn't work out. We are a very self-aware group and as a whole have become much less vocal about player criticism. What? Especially online when guys could do do it as a knee-jerk correction to the Bo situation. Auburn fans could all see that Aiden had flashes, but were caught defending Aiden all season from what, in hindsight, were totally valid criticisms of Aiden. After what happened with Bo and our unfettering trust in Bruce, we were going to stand by Aiden no matter what. He goes 0 for 7 against Alabama, no worries, one-off game. 0 for 5 against Florida, no big deal, tough away game. We defended that kid as if he were one of our own and didn't hesitate to plug our ears and shout back at anyone that came for him, mostly Alabama fans. Then, in the offseason, Aiden announced he's going to transfer. Fine. Find a spot that fits. We all saw flashes, but he didn't help us like we hoped. Go be great, kid. Oh, that's nice. Then he committed to Bama. And making a disparaging comment about Bruce on the way out, that is when Auburn fans decided to stop defending him and to accept the things that were obvious all year. Now, Auburn fans want Aiden to fail because we cared about him, defended him, and he spurned us for our rival. If he was terrible from the beginning, we wouldn't care. But since we could see that he could be great, we stood up for him all year. The fact that he went to the other team we wouldn't want him to go to seemed like an intentional shot across the bow. Bama fans will say Aiden's improvement, he is definitely playing better this year so far, is because of the system, when it's actually because of the Malik Willis problem. Excuse me.
Where it really gets off the rails.
Malik assumed he was going to be the guy, and when he found out he wasn't, he decided to actually try and transferred and became great. Those are his words. He assumed, and that expectation failing is what caused him to put in the effort. It's the same for Aiden. He assumed he would be given the star treatment, and when he wasn't, he was sold a dream. And then he actually goes to practice at his next school and focuses on the game. Good for him. There's a little bit more. There's more to be said, but it seems like both Auburn and Alabama benefited from him leaving. I still hope he loses every game, though.
This reply sums that up like so perfectly. Aiden Holloway is a great player that our coach didn't use correctly, and I wish he was still on my team.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole lot of words to say that.
I mean, come on. What are you doing? Dog, like, your team didn't even play last night. Go hang out with your family. Watch a movie. Like, dude, unplug, my guy.
If you don't have a wife and kids, go find one.
Step away from the Twitter. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. I mean, I just... and then, he replies to his own tweet. The Bama fans quoting and replying just to prove Bama fans either can't or won't read. No, we read it. It's just the ramblings of an idiot.
It's just ramblings of cope. It's just ramblings of my feelings are hurt. And look, God. Hey, I am all about your feelings. Sure. Embrace it. If you got something to talk about with your feelings, you add joke 8 through 6, whatever.
Yeah.
But
don't let college basketball dictate your feelings.
Yeah, what's the point of this? Like, oh yeah, okay.
I don't know Barnes a lot. I don't know who this person is. I presume this is a grown adult
Sam
person.
Walters goes well at Michigan. I don't care. Like, who are some of the others? Nick Pringle goes at South Carolina. I'm not watching South Carolina games for that. I'm not watching Oklahoma games to see the 4 Muhammad Wagi minutes a game. I don't care. Like, and I love Alabama basketball. I'll just be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting there watching, let's just make it even like closer to home. I'm not watching the Charlotte Hornets because Brandon Miller is playing. I don't give a rip. I'm not watching the Pelicans, one, because they stink, but her being on the team is not enough to make
I'll watch them if they make the playoffs. That's about it.
Right. I don't care about the former players in that fashion that way. Like, of course, I want the former players to all succeed.
Sure.
But I'm not going to watch, like, who might have transferred out that was disappointing? Really nobody. I'm not sitting there and watching. Okay, I didn't love Jade Shackelford as a player, but every time when he's out there playing for the Thunder G League team or whoever he's on, go be great, dude.
Sure.
Great. It doesn't bother me a bit. The bad memories from that season don't linger.
I'm trying to think of like a
Jaden Bradley goes to Arizona.
Yeah. Didn't have no hard feelings there.
Yeah, I don't care. And like, okay, I understand it's different. You go
Rylan Griffin
in the rivalry. You go in the rivalry. You go from Alabama to Auburn. That makes it a different aspect.
That's why I'm trying to think of an example.
But
That's
I don't watch
maybe
Auburn
more
games.
applicable. I don't either. That's like I don't. I watch them when I have to know what they've been doing. I'll do my due diligence and find out what this team's been doing. I keep track of who they're beating. I am not hate watching the Auburn Tigers every time they play. Like apparently Sir Barnes-a-lot is doing every time the Tide plays.
I really even don't like. You know how much I love the Bears. I don't do that with any of the other 3 NFC North teams. If they're on the TV, I'm usually choosing something else to do.
Yeah,
like this
hate
past
watching is
weekend when it was
just-
playoffs, of course I'm going to watch. And yes, I'm cheering for their opposition. But like, I'm not spending all day Sunday watching my Bears and then hating 3 other teams. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough energy. I don't have enough space.
I don't have the mental bandwidth to do that. I mean, good Lord. Like I am trying to focus on the team that I cover, the team that I watch, the team that I pay attention to. It's such odd behavior to me to like go out of your way to hate watch your rivals and then try to comment on what they're doing. It's just like, stay in your own lane, man. These 2 teams are going to meet on the same court twice. You don't have to hate watch Alabama. You'll get to see them play each other twice, like you just said. I don't know. It's very, very odd behavior from what I assume is an adult. I doubt this is a young child who typed this 500-word essay up.
This person is definitely 18 or older.
Yes. Man, you got to unplug a little bit, dude. It's a game. It's a game for children.
It was all a dream. That's what they sold him. So he says after the game, basically, somebody asked him in post game, Aiden, about last year versus this year and a confidence factor, and he really didn't bite on it. He was just like, last year I just wasn't really myself.
Yeah, what did he say? Last year was abnormal for me, just super downhill. I'm super grateful to get back and be playing at a higher level.
Yeah. So he took the high road there. Good for him. Oates said that really he's seen his confidence start to shine after he took 19 threes in one game. And he came to the film after, and coach was like, you should have taken 22. You passed up these 3 shots. You joker. Don't do that again. Take these 3 shots. And so ever since then, it's been like, okay.
I mean, it just goes to show you how much confidence can really affect a player.
He said, I don't care, Coach Oates, I don't care how far out it is. 26, 27 feet, I don't care.
Let him fly.
Okay.
His confidence is everything for a player, especially, basketball, even like where you're, the ball is directly like in your hands and you're directly impacting plays a lot more so than maybe in like football sometimes. You saw the confidence was just shot after he had a bad year at Auburn. You saw him perform bad. We just ran through it in the game to Yale. But he gets in a new system, gets some new teammates around him, gets a new coach that doesn't necessarily make him do everything. Kind of allows him to just be a guy that's standing over there waiting for the opportunity to jack up a 3, and he has thrived. And now that he has, gotten his feet back under him, he's able to branch out a bit more and do everything and be the point guard, not just be that extra option standing outside around the perimeter.
All right, Mason, let's wrap up the basketball game and flip into our other topic and close this thing down. We are live in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios just off of McFarland Boulevard. You can call Derek and his team at 205-758-3391 for all your insurance needs. Derek and his team, Red, Reese, and Victoria, they'd be happy to take your phone call, give you a quick auto insurance quote. If you had some problems with your home, anything in your life, you need to make sure you're properly insured, and State Farm is the path to do that. Call Derek Daniel right here in Northport at 205-758-3391. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. Talked a good bit of basketball. We got to leave the people with a little football before the day is over because the Fiends need it, the football. All right, here's what I stumbled across. ESPN, multiple contributors again. No singular author, multiple contributors put their brains together and rank the top 100 college football players of the 2024 season. Okay, cool. Probably doesn't matter, but it just gives us something to talk about. How many Alabama players are out of 100? How many Alabama players are on this list?
I would say 6.
6. Okay. All right. I'm scrolling through. I have the number of Alabama players. I'm scrolling through right now looking for transfers, Alabama transfers too, because that's another factor. I've already seen 2.
I bet there's one. I can think of one, I think.
Well, I've already seen 2, and I'm at 58, and I'm scrolling down. So let's just keep growing. I don't want to leave any of these transfers out. There are 3 Alabama players on the list.
Wow.
Only 3 in the top 100 as I get the full number. There's Tate Ratledge. There's Kyle McCord, Tua Molau. Now I'm in the 30s, so all these guys are known. Malachi Starks. Oh, there's your friend, Tetero McMillan
T-Mac.
at 28.
Future Tennessee Titan, Tetero McMillan.
Will Campbell, Jack Sawyer, Shadur. Okay,
Shadur.
Now I'm at 3 transfers are on the list. So you said 6. You might be right because the 3 guys that were on the roster and 3 transfers. One of the names that people are going to absolutely be like, "There's no way he's a top 100 player." Number 1 player on the list, Travis Hunter. All right, so 3 Alabama players on the list and 3 transfers on the list. So yeah, 6 total.
Tyler Booker, Ryan Williams.
You may want to rethink that first guess. Who's going to be Who's going to be the only first-round draft pick from this team?
Jai Campbell?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got...
I figured just for click's sake, Jalen Milroe makes that. I mean, come on. I know he had a bad last game, but good God, people. Top 100 player in the country? Yes. Are you insane?
Ryan Williams at 71.
Okay.
Jod Campbell at 48.
Seems low for one of the... I mean, it's like Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams. Who's going to be receiver 1 in that class?
Now, the shift has happened where it's now popular to I got to put Alabama lower than we think they are.
I think you're right.
Jahad Campbell, 48. Tyler Booker, 47.
Okay.
How about
the transfers? Trayshawn Holden?
No Trayshawn Holden.
That's preposterous. He had a fantastic season.
Who came in at number 96, who also had a fantastic season, who transferred from Alabama to Louisville.
Oh, yeah, Ja'Cory Brooks.
Ja'Cory Brooks comes in at 96. Man, would you have liked to have had a Ja'Cory Brooks on this team, a third wide receiver? That would have been nice. Ja'Cory Brooks.
Okay, Trayshawn was not quite as fantastic as I thought. I thought he did a little more. 700 yards. Still a good year.
Seth McLaughlin at 82.
That seems fair.
That's going to make people upset.
Yeah, that is.
He can't snap the football, guys.
I don't recall. I mean, I haven't done run the numbers on this, but I don't think he had a bunch of errant snaps for Ohio State this year. I think he was pretty good center.
I think people need to look up what the yips are and all the things that go along with it. And then
it's a lot more complicated than just put ball in quarterback's hands.
Downs was the 3rd. Where am I at?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I need to. Caleb.
Which we talked about Caleb Downs a little bit.
18
I think on
overall.
I know Caleb Downs is really good, and from a pure talent perspective, that's probably fair. But he didn't have an overly insanely good season.
48 tackles, 2 interceptions, 6 pass defenses. His preseason ranking was 11, and now he's at 18.
I think that seems like it's more of just him still getting a bump from that really good freshman year at Bama. I mean, he had a fine year.
Yeah, a bias, baby.
But it was a pretty pedestrian season for what is touted as the best defender in college football. However many $1 million spent in the transfer portal to acquire him, whatever. I don't know. That's interesting. I think Damani Jackson deserves a spot on this list. Damani Jackson is one of the best cornerbacks in the country, and people do not talk about it enough. Ryan Williams should certainly be higher than
Where's
71.
Parker Brailsford?
That's another one. Parker Brailsford is on this list. Should be on this list. Malachi Moore, maybe? I think Malachi was pretty dang good at that safety spot this year for Alabama. That may be it. That may be the only other ones that I'm kind of having some issues with.
You said Jalen Milroe, so I want to find out how many quarterbacks are on this list, just out of curiosity. Quarterbacks on this list. As I scrolled, come on, baby. Control F is a lot of fun. Quarterbacks on this list look to be Blake Horvath, Navy quarterback, 84. Look to be Riley Leonard, 76, Notre Dame.
Fine.
Look to be Diego Pavia, 69, nice, Vanderbilt.
Insanity.
Look to be Lenore Sellers, 65, South Carolina. Drew Aller, 63,
Sure.
Penn State.
Jalen Milroe not being on this list is ridiculous.
Sam Levitt, Arizona State freshman, 58. Will Howard, 57. National champion is 57. Okay, Kate Klubnik, 53. Wyatt Millum. No, that's an offensive tackle at my school right past. Sorry, excuse me. I was like, who is that?
It's like, I've not heard.
I haven't heard his name. Reads the internet wrong. -1 point. Bryson Daly, the All-Army quarterback at 39.
The Army and Navy quarterbacks on here are just so ridiculous.
John Mateer.
Come on, people. Like, let's watch these. Let's watch the damn games. Jesus.
John Mateer, quarterback, Washington State, 38. Now Oklahoma quarterback.
Now Oklahoma.
Kyle McCord, quarterback,
Syracuse.
37, Syracuse. Jackson Dart at 36, Ole Miss. I'm starting to go with you here because we've gotten a lot of quarterbacks on this list. Curtis Rourke, Indiana, 25.
What are we doing?
Shador at 20.
Sure, I'll give you Shador. Shador is fantastic this year.
Shador 20 for Colorado. We keep going. We're inside. Dylan Gabriel, number 9, Oregon.
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
And Cam Ward, 3.
I'll give you that
Those
one.
are the quarterbacks that made the top 100
Jalen Milroe.
above Jalen Milroe.
There are so many players you just listed that Jalen Milroe was better than this year. It's crazy. That's ridiculous. I think you're right in saying that the shift has happened where it's
cool.
Yes, it's now going to get you more clicks to poo-poo on Alabama than it is to prop up the Crimson
Well, you
Tide.
saw Brett McMurphy had Alabama at 23 in his preseason ranking for 2025. I think that if you were to really analyze it and probably put Alabama at 12, maybe 8, maybe 15, right? Somewhere in there. Yeah. What you'd get is, you just got Bama bias, Joe. They're not that good. They lost 4 games. And it's like, I think 8 to 15 is probably going to be about right. Not past 20.
No, I think, right in that, even like 8 might be even a little too high,
Okay.
But I think that's a good range. 23 is a bit wild.
Do you think this team would have been better with Caleb Downs, Seth McLaughlin, and Ja'Cory Brooks?
I'm okay without Seth McLaughlin. I think they got a worthy replacement. Probably a better. I think they upgraded that position overall. Caleb Downs, please go. Come on back to Crimson. Come on back to Tuscaloosa if you want to. Seats open. You throw Ja'Cory Brooks on this team. You throw Trayshawn Holden on this team. It would have looked a lot different this year, I think. That offense would have opened up a little more. Jalen Milroe maybe would have had some guys he could trust a little more. A little less telegraph
transfer portal. That transfer portal erodes everything. I was thinking about it the other day. Basically tying back to the Mohamed Diabate situation, it's like you fall in love with a player and you think, I'll donate to the NIL. And then that player goes in the transfer. I'm not an expert dater, but that's the only thing that's coming into my brain is you pursue somebody, they give you a little thing that you like, and then they leave you. And obviously that happens in dating. That's no problem. That's not what I'm trying to say. You accept that in dating. For sure. You accept that that's part of the dynamics. You don't accept that in college football. You don't accept that in college sports. You come to school, okay, you transfer out, whatever. It used to be a thing where only a couple of people transfer out ever.
It was 10 people every year max.
Right.
And they were it was huge stories.
When I was young, it was so-and-so's
you
the
remember
program.
Jake Coker transferring out, that was
that was a big deal.
Whoa,
And it was a big deal because wasn't he close to graduating or not close to graduating? Didn't he come?
He spent 2 years at Florida State?
Yeah, I think he came late in that off-season cycle because he was still finishing an online class at Florida State so that he could graduate and not sit out a year, I think, to mitigate the rule. Now, maybe I just made that up, but I think that's how my memory goes. And
one of my favorite Alabama quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's just
love that guy.
Really a tough time for the average fan, I think, to fall in love with to stay in love with sport.
Certainly, they're making it really hard, I think, especially for fans to stay in love with the sport, but also to create new fans, because little kids, the way that they get attached to players is very different than the way that an adult gets attached to players. We all understand it's part of the game. People move teams, guys get traded, whatever. In professional sports, guys get traded, they go to free agency, whatever. But children do not have that. They just see, my favorite player's gone. Well, I don't want to root for this team anymore. I want to root for my favorite player. And and that creates a really weird generation of fans, I think, where we're going to potentially lose a lot of like regional love for teams, and it's gonna, I don't know, it's a strange, very strange potential outcome.
The current 7-year-olds, I think, are very fortunate that Ryan Williams seems to be appears to be a very loyal person to the University of Alabama, from what I can gather and understand. Imagine explaining to your 7-year-old, Ryan Williams going to the portal and he's going to USC or he's going to Tennessee.
They offered him $6 million. He couldn't say no. Buddy.
I would hate the sport as a 7-year-old. I would hate it.
Yeah, I'd be furious. I probably wouldn't want to watch it anymore.
Right. I'd say.
So, I think.
Give me my Saturday morning cartoons instead.
Yeah. They, for the last 3, 4, 5 years, the NCAA has really, really looked at things short-sightedly and not looked at the big picture at all. And, that big picture is not a great sight as it stands currently.
Okay. Anything else you got for the people today, Mason? Everybody follow Mason Woods at MA_Woods_ Cole Derek Daniel at State Farm 205-758-3391.
We're talking about paying folks, and I did see Nick Saban revealed that Miss Terry's message to him, her last message regarding his retirement. Do you see that? She said it's always about relationships, but now it's about how much money you're going to pay them. She said apparently that was one of the things that she hated, was that she wasn't able to develop relationships with players anymore like she had been, which is, I think, valid. And I think that's less to do with the money aspect and more to do with the transfer portal, but it's still a valid criticism. It's unfortunate that that's maybe what pushed Coach out of it.
Yeah, I don't necessarily. People talk about NIL. I think it's more the portal than anything. Because we can negotiate money, buddy, but if we can't negotiate money with any sort of foundation, like, you can just go on leave, or you got school XYZ calling you too. Like, you put me into a position where I can't really negotiate with that.
That's exactly the thing. There is no negotiating there. It's just like,
are you going to pay me X amount of dollars? No, you're not. All right, I'm leaving.
Yes.
All right, let's get out of here. Let's be done for the day. It's Wednesday. We will have 2 more shows for the week. We're gonna have a lot of fun. If you watched us on the YouTube channel today, you noticed a little bit clearer picture. We're upgrading some things. Next week, the goal is to get a phone line. So if you want to call us and tell us how good or bad looking we are, you can at an undisclosed number. We will get that very soon. We're going to get out of here for the day. It's the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com. You watched us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter. You listened to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon. On Spotify, you can rate the show right when you're up there, the 3 little dots. Rate the show 5 stars. We love that. You make me very, very happy doing that. We'll talk to you again tomorrow right here on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.